So this is the topic of the speech by Henning Reif, member of the Executive Board Schumann. In the recent years, it has become more than obvious that digital transformation is not a passing trend, not at all. The transformation changes covers many aspects of our lives. Henning Reif will present comprehensive and diverse challenges and opportunities. The stage is yours.
Thanks a lot, Robert, and a very warm welcome from my side. Yes, as you said, over the last years, it became more than obvious that digital transformation isn't a passing trend. And these days, I think each and every company is a tech company, and neglecting tech is quite hard. The transformation changes so many things of our life, and not only of our private life, but also of our business lives. And we have to see where we can transform and how we can transform these changes into opportunities. Looking a bit around, there are so many trends. Some of them are there for a longer period and some of them are more short-lived. I tried to pick out some of these trends where I think that will influence the way of assessing, transferring and covering credit risks. One megatrend that does not lose speed or meaning is about data. Data is the new oil, but in comparison with the oil, not only the ownership, but the usage of the data is very important. Over the almost 25 years of Schumann history, we always tried to get the best data into the system of our clients. Now, these days, we are able to offer data from more than 50 providers. For example, financial statements, payment data, data from information agencies, or information from credit insurers. And always, we did not only store the data, we always tried to get something more than the obvious information from the data. Risk managers have to fulfill many decisions each and every day. So the question is, how can a system support them in a better way? There are various examples I know from my private life. So for example, Netflix knows what kind of movie I want to watch to, or Amazon knows what I can or should shop. And it's for me amazing how Spotify can identify and feel which kind of music I want to listen to. These services are so powerful because they combine both a global, powerful database with local data they stored about my person. And we can do the same thing by combining external data with internal information that is inside your company. And this is something we at Schumann are doing and we are offering in our solutions. And we can go even a step ahead. We can combine data from various companies with each other who have a different view on the same risk. So, for example, for the evaluation of suppliers, we can combine data on the reliability of delivery with booking items. And even a step further, we can combine unstructured data, let's call it alternative or new data, with the classical data. These days, it is possible to extract notes from the financial statements by analytical models using artificial intelligence. And I think if we combine these new data with classical data, we can have a better qualified decision on certain credit risks. For more details on the way of analyzing this data, please visit the session of my colleague Niklas here in this channel at 3:40 p.m. And I think it's important to be quite creative in the usage of the data. So, for example, for us at Schumann, it's relevant to get in touch with our potential clients and to see them and to find them when they have a need for these solutions we have. And one way of identifying them is to see at LinkedIn whether a company grows their department of risk managers. And we can find this information and reach out to them. What I want to say is that we have to be creative to find new data and new ways and new conclusions we can derive from these. The second big trend is about connecting more and more players in the market. But before connecting external parties with each other, I think it's important to leverage information that's inside the company. For example, I have the feeling that often there's a very long way from the sales department to the risk management team. And sometimes the way from the supplier management to the buyer management is even longer. And although they could use the same data and the same methods, they are not able to do it. And I think it's often because the systems aren't integrated. And I think one way of leveraging these data is to make integration as easy as possible. We've been doing projects in the credit risk management at Schumann for almost 25 years. And one very, very relevant aspect is always to connect and to integrate the systems, and to remember a lot of very turbulent discussions about interfaces, how they should be designed. I think these days things are a bit easier because there are better established techniques like OpenOut or REST. It's quite easy to share a Swagger specification, and every tech guy knows what is meant by certain fields and how they should implement it. For our clients, we provide the Schumann Enterprise Integration Layer with out-of-the-box connectivity, following industry standards. We have in mind that inside most of the companies, the same thing is named different. And for this purpose, we have additionally integrated techniques like Apache Camel to allow the configuration and the mapping of these different fields. So we can say for connectivity, we are relying on configurable industry standards. In our private lives, we rely on certain services, and we are more than open to use them because they are free of charge, although we know that we pay, of course, with our data. And one thing that these providers understood very, very well is that they have to combine a brilliant user experience with a system that captures the data in a well-structured manner. And to get as much data as possible, the number of user touchpoints is the key. And it doesn't matter where the credit risk arises that you're dealing with. There's always a consumer of your services sitting in front of a system and sitting in front of a portal. And of course, you can also benefit from better access to your clients. The Schumann Client Portal is one answer to tackle exactly this challenge, and it offers a platform that can be extended by industry-specific services. And it doesn't matter if you're a producer, a wholesale company, a factory or leasing provider, or an insurer that covers this risk. A past trend that we have to qualify a bit is a very strong push into apps. These days we can see more something, I would like to call it an adequate mobility. So not an accountant would not have no need to enter his booking items into his tablet or smartphone. But we have to bring the services exactly in this situation the consumer expects them to be. So, for example, that we have the possibility to approve a limit on a construction site to make the next steps go on, or that a truck can start unloading the construction materials, or that a guarantee is released in the moment the principal accepts a certain stage of the construction. We are very interested to hear your ideas, which services are missing, and we were very, very happy to help you to bring your services to exactly the right position where your clients expect these services to be. All these connections require a lot of trust, and this is again a sword with two edges. There are very inspiring possibilities of creating trust. For example, the distributed ledger technology that allows the unity of digital goods like currencies or data. Not being forced to rely on a single institution like a government or a company sounds somehow charming. But besides the somehow very influence-driven cryptocurrencies, we can see a bit less usage of blockchain technologies than we expected to see 2 years ago. But there are providers adapting these ideas and providing somehow ecosystems of trust. For example, in this conference, you can see two providers that offers just such a system in the area of surety bonding. They are DVS and Trustlock. Just visit their discussions and see how they fulfill these requirements. Another use case of this trust is the onboarding of new clients. Not only from a risk perspective, but also from a compliance perspective. It's very relevant to know to which company you're selling goods or giving a credit. The onboarding of ourselves as customers is quite easy. I presume most of you already carried out a video ident procedure. For the B2B area, it's a bit more complex because you not only have to identify the person sitting in front of the camera, you have to check their power of attorney. You have to check to which company they belong and whether they are allowed to sign certain contracts. But we see also providers offering these services, and we at Schumann are about to integrate them to offer you a digital end-to-end service. We can see two more trends. The first is that companies start a bit focusing on the core of the business. And by spreading this functionality across the value chain, the mentioned connectivity is very crucial. And this leads us to the second trend, that there is a need for combined services, because nobody wants to use different providers or different services to have one process being carried out. And this is again the point where connectivity comes back into the game. And this time it's not about connecting different systems, it's about connecting different companies. And a bit more, it's not only about having point-to-point connections between companies, it's about connecting various players in the market. And this is something that is enabled by platforms who connect participants in a certain market with each others, and participants, market players can find themselves in this platform and they are there connected. To serve these different needs, focused solutions are necessary. And this is one of the reasons why you can see 8 different Schumann solutions in the expo section of this conference. All of these solutions are tailored for their special needs. Tailored and focused for their intended purpose, but still integrated. These solutions, these Schumann risk solutions, have always aimed to make as many decisions as automatically as possible, and only leave the rest for manual processing. By letting the machine learn from manual processing, we are able to increase the level of automation step by step. But, of course, we are limited to the knowledge and the experience the human puts into the system. So, the second consequent goal is to have decisions from a machine that might be better because they are somehow neutral. They are not limited to certain data fields. They can take more pieces of information into account. But again, I think data and connectivity is crucial to fulfill and allow these enhancements. Just stay tuned to this channel. My colleague will deep dive into this thought. As mentioned before, all these solutions have to adapt to different needs. And this is why there are various possibilities to configure these products. And we are sure that the possibility to have out-of-the-box solutions that only needs to be configured not only reduces costs. We are sure it's even more relevant that you achieve a competitive time to market with new solutions, with new products. And we can show you how easy an individual scorecard can be implemented, or by using the decision model notation, or how easy it is to adapt a workflow to fit your needs of your company. Besides the functionality, I have to switch a bit back to the idea of having portals. I think the way how the software looks like and how it interacts with the user is getting more and more important. So for new development, but also for the extension of existing products, we are working on improve this user experience. And we have dedicated teams at Schumann, not only asking what the software should do, they are asking how the software should do this. And I think it's getting more and more important as we as consumers, both as business individuals, won't longer accept software in our business life that is worse than the software in our private lives. To sum up, I think both the availability of the data and the power of analytical models will increase massively in the next years. And we at Schumann will help you in making the best possible use of these opportunities. We are sure that in the future, the best data, the best processing of data, and the best connectivity will be key. We are investing in our existing products, but also in new products to serve your business needs. You will see existing products with new features, and you will see new products. Some of them were already shown today, and some of them will be shown in the near future. Just follow us to see and hear about the new solutions. We think tech will open more and more possibilities, and we are looking forward into the next year and how to contribute to these tech trends. Thanks a lot.
So thank you very much, Henning. That was a good insight. So the digitization touches all aspects of our life. Yeah. And that also, of course, has an impact on the market and the solutions. And you expressed that very well in which areas we are investing to cover that and to build that in. So looking into the market of IT providers, so there are traditional IT companies, they are the experienced ones, and on the other hand, there are some fintechs, insurtechs. Could you give us a flavor, what the difference is and what the approach is, maybe the core idea is? What are the differences between the different approaches, maybe? Is there any difference in the long run?
Well, I think there is, of course, a difference. And we see fintechs, we see startups in, I think, a lot of areas that touches the products we are offering. And I think there is space and a need for both. We need providers of solid platforms that store data, that they're able to process data. And we always have to have in mind that we're dealing with very special pieces of information, risk information. We are about to give credits. So I think there's a need for these solid platforms. And of course, there's space and some of the need for startups to offer a new fancy product. But we always have to have in mind that these products must be integrated, as they offer services that might last for a couple of years. So I think there's space and the need for both solid platforms, providers of this back-end processing, as well as providers of some fancy solutions.
Yeah, so that's also a challenge for the companies, the insurance companies and financial institutions to find out in which areas do I find the right partner? What is the right approach of a partner in the IT world to cooperate with and to embed new solutions into their company?
Yeah, of course. And I think this is something we at Schumann are actually really experienced with. So for these 25 years, we always try to integrate partners. And we are very open, have open eyes and see which partners are being in the market. And we are getting in touch with them to see how we can integrate them just to offer a better service and better user experience to your clients. Because at the end, it's what counts is what we together can offer as a service to the consumer. And this is why we are very open and happy to see new players appearing and very open to get them on board and integrate them.
Yeah. So what a great outlook. So when talking about digitization, it's all talking about to network, to connect, and not to be limited at all.
Yeah.
And that's a fantastic outlook. Yeah. Thank you very much, Henning.